Hi, so today we're going to be talking about primers and foundations, different types of primers, high-end and drugstore, and foundations, liquid foundation, stick foundation, and compact foundations. So let's begin with the primers. So we're gonna start with the high-end primers that I have. I only have one full size, which is Fentybeauty, and the rest are samples that I have received on subscription boxes, etc., etc. So let's begin. I have Fentybeauty Pro Filter right here. This is a high-end primer. It's really good if you have overly dry skin. If you do, this is for you if you can splurge on it. Ciaté Watermelon Burst Hydrating Primer. This primer as well, as you guys can see, has gold beads inside. It's really hydrating. As you guys can see, already uses almost gone. It's really hydrating when you are going to wear a foundation during the day. Obviously, because of the sun, it can dry your makeup, and this one will keep your face hydrated basically. Another really good hydrating primer that you guys can use is the First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Hyaluronic Hydration Primer. You can use this as a primer, and you can also use this one as a moisturizer. First Aid Beauty has a lot of good skincare and items that you guys can utilize with your makeup, and obviously will help elongate the wear time of your makeup, as well as bring good items or good products for your skin. Another primer that I have is Tarte Base Tape, that it was inspired on Shade Tape. This is a double duty beauty. This is a coconut scented primer that will make your foundation last more time. I only used this primer once, and I didn't like it. Not because it didn't make my makeup last, it was because it was too watery, and at the time I didn't have a primer for my pores, and I didn't enjoy as much. Another primer that I really enjoy using it is a sample as well as It Cosmetics Primer Oil Free. It is a gripping primer, and it works really good and will last your makeup all day. Other primer that is really nice that I have used for a couple of times, that I have received different samples, is the Smashbox photo primer primer. So this primer is really nice. It will make your makeup last all day. It's really hydrating. It doesn't dry out your makeup or nothing. Another one from Smashbox as well is the Photo Finish Radiance Primer. This is a sample as well. This will give you a small to none sheen on your face, depending on your skin color, because this one has a color, it barely shows up in my skin. So if you have a super fair color, it will show up in you, but I don't think it will you don't mess up your foundation application. So let's go with drugstore primers, and I have a primer mist from ELF. So this primer, I got it last year. It's super fine. It smells okay. It doesn't have a specific smell. It will hydrate your skin before you apply your foundation, and also it is super inexpensive. Covergirl's pore minimizing primer. It's really good. This primer will hide your pores, and it's truly inexpensive. If I'm not mistaken, I got this one for $5.50, or let's say $6. Another primers that are from a really inexpensive brand, it's Wet&Wild, and I have three, or there are four, but I'm gonna show you these three first. I have a matte primer, I have a cucumber primer, and I have a dewy primer. These ones retail for $4.50 to $5, but I got them all in buy one and get the other one half off. This one is actually truly matte if you have a really oily face, but it doesn't, you don't have problems with your pores. This is for you. Obviously you guys can combine primers. You don't have specifically just use one primer, because most of the time when I do my makeup I use two or more. The other one is the cucumber. This one I only applied it once because it kind of burned my skin. So if you have overly sensitive skin, I wouldn't recommend this for you. But if you have tried it and worked for you, win-win. The other one is the dewy. Is really nice. It has a small sheen on the primer, and yeah, it didn't dry on my skin or nothing. The other primer from Wet&Wild is the Rose Primer, and I got this one serum. It's from Wet&Wild as well, and I got this one at Walgreens, and I think it was $5. It's really liquidy, and it has this rose scent. It's not overly power, but it's really nice, and it works really good. Another primer that I have here, it's the Maybelline Baby Skin Pore Erasing Primer. This is my favorite primer from the drugstore. The other ones that I already told you about, the It Cosmetics and Smashbox, are one of my favorites for splurging. But if you're in a budget, this one is for you. A trick that I have been doing is working out the primer on my face. When I apply the foundation, I will show you guys how I do it, so you guys can do it as well. And another one that I have right here, it's the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. This one was inspired, I'm guessing, by the Tarte Canvas Primer. As you guys can see, it has a really creamy texture, and it is let's say for the people with larger pores like me. My problem areas with pores are in this area right here and right here. I don't have large pores here nor here, but I work it out in those areas as well. So let me show you guys how I apply my primer. So I'm gonna get some of this baby skin from Maybelline, and I'm gonna put it in the back of my hand, this amount, and with my fingers, clean hands, I'm going to work it out right here like this, and I'm gonna apply it. I'm not using my middle finger. It's just something that I do. So I'm gonna apply it right here, small amount, and I'm gonna work it in my skin. As you guys can see, you can use two fingers and work it in. This has changed my game in applying makeup. Sometimes when I'm uploading a makeup tutorial, I may not do all this work on my face, and I will just show you guys that I apply it on, but this is what I do, so my makeup will look more flawless. So if you have larger pores in this area like me, make sure you work it in, so your pores can actually get all this primer and be erased. So you work it in. Here it is. If you hear that noise, it's just me moving my lips, and I have braces on, so it makes weird noises. So the rest will go on my forehead, and I work it in. I don't have a problem with my pores in my forehead, but you know, why not? So with the rest, I apply in the rest of my face. And another trick that you guys can do so your makeup will look more flawless and will actually stick to your face is something that I do. So when I have the time, after having 2 kids at home and husband, like a 3rd kid, I shave my face with this. These ones are, it says where they're trimmers, but some people call flickers or little knives, whatever you want to call it. So I buy this ones in the pack of 3 for $1 at Walgreens. So if you have a Walgreens, go ahead and check it out. They're really good. They don't go bad right away. They have like, if you take care of them and you do it with a dry face, they will last for a while. So I use this and I remove most of the hair that I can see from my face with this. So I do it in all this area, obviously around my eyebrows, my upper lip, and this area right here. Does my hair get thicker? No. It gets darker? No. At least not for me. That might happen to you, but for me, that's not a problem. So this, since I think I saw Nicole Guerrero doing it, she was obviously in another YouTubers like Jaclyn Hill and some others that they do this, and it works fine. It hasn't like make my hairs like gone worse or nothing. So if you haven't tried it, go ahead. It's good. If you do waxing, good for you. If you do the ones with threads, good for you. So now let's begin talking about foundations and the different of foundation that might work for you. So the ones I'm more familiar with are either in a stick, like this one from Wet&Wild. It's the Wet&Wild Photo Focus Stick Foundation in the color Sand Beige. This is it. Well, here it is, stick foundation. So what I do is either I roll it up. It's almost gone. I roll it up and I do it swirl all over my face, or if I don't want to do this because I don't feel like it, I put it in this area right here of my hand and I work it in, make sure it gets warm. And after I do that, I will get a wet sponge, either from cosmetics, no, Jesus Christ, I forgot the name of this, Real Techniques from Walgreens or CVS, and this sponge is only $5.99. Or you guys can go ahead and order this sponge. It doesn't absorb almost none of the product that you apply. This is from Medusa's makeup. You guys can go to Medusa's makeupbox.com and get this sponge. I got it at the subscription that I get from them, and it is amazing. As well, you guys can get beauty blenders and other sponges that you guys are comfortable with. So when I do the stick foundation in my hand, I use a sponge and then I will blend it in my skin. If I apply the stick foundation directly to my face, I will use a brush. For example, this brush right here, this is really dense, so the coverage of my foundation, it's higher. Of course, when you use a sponge, sometimes the coverage can lower, let's say lower or decrease. So when you use a brush, the coverage will stay in there, and of course you can use circular motions, so you go up and down, or stapling motions, whatever is in your preference. If you have never used a brush to apply your foundation, go ahead and try it out. I did it and I like it. Sometimes whenever I feel like it, I use it. Not all the time. Most of the videos that I have uploaded, I have used a sponge. So in the next video, I will use a brush just for you. And of course, let's go for the liquids. So we're done with this one, and let's go ahead and start with the liquid foundations. I have 3 right here. I have Fentybeauty Pro Filter foundation. I have the True Match L'Oreal. They're all well loved. And I have Superstay from Maybelline. This one is in the color 210. The girl on Sephora did the little machine with the color, and she gave me the 210. And this is too light for me, and I tried to tell her that's too light. She's no, get it. I ended up getting it because she was so persistent. Don't do it. If you get pushy sells people at stores, don't get it if you don't feel like it. I was really mad on my way home. So I have the True Match foundation from L'Oreal in Sand Beige W5. This one is a tad too dark for me, so sometimes I mix it up with the Fentybeauty, and that's fine for me. If you have really oily skin, this one is for you, because this is a matte foundation. Of course, there are matte foundations from the drugstore, so you don't have to go to Sephora or Ulta or buy it online. There are good foundations from the drugstore. So the True Match L'Oreal, this one, it doesn't specifically says, because I know they have a dewy one if I'm not mistaken, but this one is really good. It does. I have dry skin, mostly sometimes combination. It's either whatever in the month, whatever my skin feels like that month. I have oily T-zone, and this one, it doesn't make my skin feel oily at all. So if you're on a budget, True Match. Make sure the girls at either Walgreens or CVS or Ulta, because I know the Ulta sells L'Oreal if I'm not wrong. Make sure you test the color in store and outside. Make sure it matches, because I know there were some foundations that they oxidize on my skin and they go super orange, and that's a no-no. So another foundation that I have super well loved is the Superstay from Maybelline, and the color Natural Beige. This is the foundation that I've been using on all of my videos, and this is a perfect match, even though it looks a little bit dark comparing obviously in the bottle through my skin, but it's a perfect color. Another foundation type that you might use as well is from a compact like this from e.l.f. Let me show you guys. This is a foundation palette. It comes with 4 different colors. This is the Fair and Light colors. So you guys can see it has 4 different colors, and they are all super creamy. If you think they are a tiny bit too dry for you, you guys can go ahead and use an oil on them if you have dry skin. If you don't, you can always put it in this area right here, work it in, and they apply it to your face. And I have another palette right here. If I'm not mistaken, this is the light and medium colors. Let me show you guys. This one's well loved by me. Here it is. I tend to use this light to medium, but I bought this one, and I got also the dark and deep palette. It's really nice. I had them for a while, and they haven't gone bad. They don't smell. They still perform the exact same way as the first day. And I got these ones from the e.l.f. website, because where I live here in Puerto Rico, the drugstores, sometimes they don't update with products when they come up with new lines. So sometimes when I do, I just go to their website and I order them from online. So after I already explained you guys the different primers and foundations, and I already applied my primer and I let it set, let's go ahead and start with foundation. So I'm gonna start with the Superstay and the color Natural Beige 220. I'm gonna put it in the back of my hand. I'm gonna do 2 full pumps, so it's 1, 2. And today I'm going to use the Medusa's Makeup Box Pink Sponge. And when I do, I don't apply it directly like this. I use my finger first, and then I will dot it on my face. Don't forget your neck. Here it is. So I use the bottom of the sponge. Now I will remove the excess. Almost nothing left. As you can see, there's almost nothing there. So let's begin to blend the foundation. So here it is. This sponge is not too, it has the correct bounce against your face. When I got it from the subscription box, I was a little skeptical about it. I was like, I don't think it's gonna be that good, but it's actually really good. When you go into these areas right here, sometimes you can just move your nose so the foundation can go in, because sometimes if you don't, you will leave this right here area without foundation, and when you apply your powder, it will show that you don't have nothing in there. And I know a lot of people put foundation on their lips, but sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It depends on the day. Here it is. Before I finish with my forehead, I always go to my neck. And depending obviously in the day, right now it's that nighttime, I'm going nowhere, so I'm just gonna leave it right here. But if you're actually going out, you're going to a party or going to an event, make sure you go ahead and blend it out all the way down, depending on the shape of your neck, of the whatever clothes you're wearing, the dress or whatever. So we're going around, we're gonna remove the hair. I don't sometimes apply anything under my eyes or on my eyelids, because when I apply concealer, that will do the trick. So this is it. It almost didn't absorb anything. Here it is. If you guys are not happy with how it looks and you guys want more coverage, let's go ahead and do one more pump, and we're gonna apply it in this area right here. At least I have freckles on my face, and sometimes I will let them show one pump, and sometimes I just don't want them to. Apply in this area right here, so I have a pump right here. I'm gonna do it with my finger again. So let's not waste anything. I'll put it right here. There we go. Again, don't waste anything, don't leave it in your hands. Let's go ahead and work it in. You see guys, there's nothing right there. Now we're good. This is something that I used to forget, didn't pay attention, and then a few hours later I was like, what's wrong with my nose? There was no product right there. So you can keep bouncing this until you're satisfied with your foundation. So now let me get closer right here. I can barely see my freckles. I mean, they always peek through. So I'm gonna stop right here, and this is just a demonstration of what I do sometimes, because sometimes depending on how my under eye looks, I will apply my primer and I'll apply a small amount of concealer under my eyes, and then I will apply my foundation and more concealer later. So let's go ahead. I have two concealers right here that I mostly use. I know there are cream concealers, but I don't have any at home like at all. And the other high-end concealer that I have is Kat Von D Lock-It concealer in the color M17. It's really nice, super thick. If you have overly dry under eyes, I wouldn't recommend that concealer for you, because it's truly matte and it's truly full coverage. So what I have right here that is super inexpensive and they work really nice is the Wet&Wild concealer. Right here it is. And I have two colors. One of them is in light medium and the other one is light ivory. So what I do is I will take a light medium and I will apply it right here. Right here. Do the same thing to my other eye. As you guys can see, my under eyes and lids are on the brownish reddish side. It's something I have always had. It's no pigment or nothing. That's just how my under eyes are. Thanks to my grandma. Nothing bad, obviously. Nothing bad. So now I'm gonna use this side of the sponge, or you guys can use a brush like this one. I'm gonna use one eye with the sponge and one eye with a brush. Let me grab a water spray so I can wet the sponge again, because I kind of got dump it again. It's just water. There's no primer, there's no setting spray or nothing. Because I know some YouTubers use a setting spray for your makeup, for your concealer, but I don't. So I'm gonna use this eye for the sponge. Let me get closer. So I start with the outer part of my eye first, and I will drag it all the way here. Then continue, and then I'm gonna stop here, and then I'm gonna start diffusing this. Jesus. You know, I don't know if it happens to you when you're trying to say something blind here. Now that it came. Okay, that's what she said. If you watch The Office, that's what she said. Okay, so blend it in, coming together with the other side, and always bring the product in this area right here. Because sometimes when you apply, for example, if you are somebody who uses a eyeshadow primer, well, of course, you will apply it all over your eyelid to cover any discolorations or anything. But I use the concealer to apply it in this area right here. So now I'll blend it all over. And that's it. You guys can see it covered really, really nice. Now I'm gonna use a brush. Again, blend it all over here. And as you guys can see, sometimes a brush can bring out more coverage than a sponge. I tend to use more time blending with a brush than with the sponge, obviously. But you guys can see, I think sometimes the brush can bring out more coverage, how I said before, than a sponge. So here it is with the brush, with the sponge. As you guys can see, and I said it before, with the brush, sometimes brushes can bring out the better coverage in there. So now I will use the Super Light Concealer just to brighten out any spaces that I think they need more coverage. So I'm gonna use the Super Light one, and I'm gonna apply it right here. The bridge of my nose, the forehead. You guys can see I'm not applying a large amount. It's just something just to brighten up the area. Cupid's bow and my chin. Sometimes I will apply a small amount right here, or right here, but right now I did another pump for this area, so I don't want to overly apply products in those areas so it doesn't look cakey. So let's go ahead and start with the sponge again. So this product, you want to make sure it goes all over and it's just not in one space, so it looks more natural. Of course, makeup won't make it look natural, but you know, it can be more wearable. So you guys can see it's way more brighter. Blend it out, make sure there's no edges. Let me go ahead and do this right here. And I will brush just whatever's left on my eyelids. See? So cover a little bit. So the rest, I'm gonna use a sponge. And voila. Those areas are more bright. And conceal. If you have obviously spots where you want to conceal, you can go ahead and try it. When sometimes when I have pimples, for example, I have one right here, but I didn't give it extra coverage. So when I do, it will use a red lipstick. Yes, make sure it's matte, a red lipstick, and use a small brush. Make sure that it's, for example, flat. Get a small amount of the red lipstick and apply it over before you apply any concealer or any foundation, so it will be used as a color correcting for your skin. So let me go all over my face. Make sure everything looks good. And let me get out closer so you guys can see. Let me lower the light on my ring light so you guys can see better. Give me 1 second. There we go. Way more coverage. As I said before, you still will be able to see my freckles because I don't go above and beyond like super coverage to cover them all, because I don't mind my freckles. I used to, but not no more. So now it will be a great time if you do cream contour to apply it. Sometimes I do, it depends on if I'm going out or doing, for example, birthday party or Christmas or whatever, I will do it. But if I don't, I'll usually wear powder. So while I explain you guys about the different powders, I will let my skin sit and then I will use a powder so you guys can see it. So the powder that I use most of the time when I upload a video, it's the Kat Von D Locket Setting Powder in Translucent. If I'm not wrong, I think I have 2 more different colors for this. This is amazing. It is $30. I bought this at Sephora here in one of the malls, and it's, if you got the money to buy it, and if you wear makeup, let's say every day, or let's say every other weekend, or every weekend, or every other day, this is for you. It's really nice. It doesn't leave a white cast or nothing. When I do my pictures here for IG, as you guys can see, there's nothing to see. It blends like a dream, and it's really, really nice. Another powder that you guys can use as well, that but this one has a color, so if you are more into a tanner side, because this one I applied on under my eyes, and even though I have a medium skin tone, this banana powder left a small, you guys were able to see the yellowish color under my eyes. So you guys can see, has the colors, you see it right here. Yeah, so it's good. It's super fine. It melts, but it left a small you know, I was able to see the color. Maybe it was just me. I didn't ask anybody else about the makeup, but at least that one, it was really, really good. Let me show you guys. Banana setting powder. Another one that is really nice as well is the NYX Mineral Matte Finish Powder. So you have oily face. This mineral matte powder might work for you, from NYX. I got this one at CVS. And this powder, I jump in the bandwagon from this powder from Jeffree Star, is the Airspun. Not only Jeffree Star, but if I'm not mistaken, the first person that I saw using this one was Learning to Be Fearless, Alex channel. I saw her using this. I have the translucent extra coverage 070-41. I know they have 3 different ones. This one is the extra coverage. If you don't like strong smells, this one's not for you. It smells like your like your grandma, but it's really, really good. Here we go. If you guys see like different, if you see me closer or far away throughout the video, my phone keeps falling down. Okay, so the next powder that I have is the Covergirl CG Smoothers, whatever. So you guys, I already have pan. This is in translucent. So when I bought this, I was like, what is this? You know, I think it was just a setting powder, setting press powder. But what it does, you set your face with a regular powder, either it's pressed powder or loose powder, and then if you have like, if your pores, if you still can see the pores and you're like, no, still not looks good, you apply this on top and will actually be like kind of like an eraser, and it works really, really nice. Another one from that is pressed powder is from Wet&Wild in the color warm beige. Let me open it up. Here it is. As you can see, it has a color. I have tried the Wet&Wild foundations, but I have to use 2 different colors so they will match my skin with the perfect color. You guys can see, barely see the color. It matches really, really nice. So, and last but not least, I have a Fit Me Maybelline in light medium right here. This one is good. It's not, for me, it's not my favorite, let's say, but it works good. It's really inexpensive as well. If I have to choose the favorite for splurging, Kat Von D. Kat Von D. I haven't tried a lot of high-end, let's say, but at least Kat Von D is my #1 as of now, splurging. If you are in a budget, the Airspun, this is for you. So now that my makeup has set, I'm going to show you guys how I set my makeup with the Kat Von D. So what I do, I leave the cap on, make sure the powder goes into the cap. So what I do is I'll make sure that my under eyes are smooth and they don't have lines. I mean, we all have lines under our eyes, and if you don't, you are lucky. So let me wet my sponge again. Give me 1 second. I got too close right there. This is just water again. So what I do, I use 2 different brushes to set my face. I use one, a powder brush, right here, and I use this other one for my under eyes. As you guys can see, it's more pointy, so it will go under my eyes smoother, and this is for all over my face. So let's go ahead and check my under eyes, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the little mirror right here to see my under eyes. Nice sponge. Okay, let me get closer. You guys can see, of course I didn't set it, it's still there. I'm gonna look like this, and with the pointy side of the sponge, I'm going to blend that product. The other side, Make sure it's blend good. Remember, you're not applying more makeup. You're making sure everything is blended. So when you apply the powder, it doesn't look cakey or it doesn't crack up. As you guys can see, I blended out. All the product is blended. Now I'm going to grab the pointy brush. I'm going to grab a small amount and I'm gonna tap it. And I'm going to keep looking like this. Press. Not too hard because it's under your eyes. Don't be too rough with your under eyes. There it is. Now let's go to the other side. Product. Tap. Here it is. Now that already we set our under eyes, I'm going to use the big brush so I can set up all the rest of my face. So I'm going to use the brush, get product all over, tap again, excess, still some powder, and I'm going to tap it all over, grab it, because obviously the first tap will always get the most, and then I'm gonna circular motions all over my face. Don't forget to set your neck, or you can do this as well so you don't move your product. As you guys can see, I didn't blend the product on my eyelids. You can see that line. It's not under my. It's not on my under eyes anymore. So I'm going to grab the sponge, blend the product in your eyelids. So when you do apply your eyeshadow, if you do whatever other product, everything is blended completely. See, everything's blended. Now I'm gonna use the pointy brush. Tap tap. I'm gonna do it all over because why not? Excess powder out, and everything's set. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a small bake under my eyes. So I'm gonna grab the pointy side of my sponge. I'm going to grab some product. Then I'm going to bake. If you don't have if you have overly dry under eyes, I wouldn't recommend you baking. And when you do it, I do it with a damp sponge, so it will the sponge will still keep most of the product, so you will only basically not bake but press the product in. It won't look cakey. See, a tiny bit more coverage. Let me get product. You see, when you start, you're going in, but you start working it out. Going around. There it is. I'm going to lower the lights so you guys can see my face. I have a ring light and I have a mirror with lights. So here it is. This is my skin with primer, foundation, and setting powder. So this is your blank canvas now. You guys can see, let me get closer. There it is, the light is coming in. And that's how I apply my primer, foundation, concealer, and setting powder. So if you guys would like to try this, please try at home. It's super simple. Make sure you work it in your primer, you do your concealer. If remember what I said, if you have really dark under eyes, or if you have spots that you want to cover before you apply your foundation, make sure you either use a lipstick or a color correcting primer or concealer, because they sell concealers that are either green, purple, orange, and yellow for discolorations and dark spots. And or use just a regular concealer, a lighter concealer. You apply it, you set it with a small, super small amount of powder, then you do your foundation and your regular routine. Don't forget those 2 points. So now that you're done, you can apply your bronzer, your blush, and highlighter, and the rest of your makeup. So this is it. These are the 3 steps that I use to create my blank canvas and then continue with my makeup. So this is it for this video. I'm not gonna show you guys my full face with the makeup on, because the next video is going to be a continuation of this, where I apply my contour, bronzer, blush, and highlighter. And then we're gonna keep continuing this. Obviously I will stop until I do my highlighter, and then another continuation I will be doing my eyebrows before makeup and after makeup. So this is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video, and I will see you guys on the next one.